When my parents adopted 2 kids, I thought I was getting a bigger family. Instead, I got erased from my own. From the moment Mark and Lily walked through our front door, I stopped being their child and became the extra. The shadow in the background of every family photo, the afterthought at every celebration. And the worst part, it took me 12 years to realize they weren't just forgetting me. They'd replaced me. When I was a kid, before everything changed, my family was small but comfortable. It was just me, Mom, and Dad in our little house with the creaky porch and the magnolia tree out front. Mom worked as a librarian, Dad was an accountant, and I was the kid who always brought home stick figure drawings and half-finished Lego creations, eager to show them off. Back then, when I came home from school, Mom would be at the kitchen table grading papers for her night classes, and Dad would lean back in his chair with a coffee, asking me about my day like it mattered. I was the center of their world, or at least I thought I was. The shift didn't happen overnight, but there was a very clear starting point. I was 10 when they sat me down in the living room one Saturday afternoon. I thought I was in trouble because Dad had his serious face on, and Mom kept smoothing out the wrinkles in her jeans. "Alex," Mom began, "we have something important to tell you. We're going to adopt." I remember blinking at them, confused. I didn't even know we were missing anyone. But they talked about wanting to give a home to kids who needed one, about how our hearts have room for more. It sounded noble, selfless. And I was a kid, I believed them. 2 months later, Mark and Lily arrived. Mark was a year younger than me, shy but quick to warm up if you mentioned sports. Lily was 4, with these big, curious eyes and a laugh that made adults melt. I liked them immediately, or at least I wanted to. I thought we were going to be a team. At first, I tried to be the good older brother. I showed Mark my comic book collection, helped Lily build pillow forts. But somewhere along the way, things shifted. It was little things at first. Mom hanging Mark's drawings on the fridge, while mine stayed in my backpack. Dad going to Mark's soccer practice, but skipping my science fair. Lily getting a second slice of cake at dinner because she's still growing, while I was told to watch my sugar. I told myself I was imagining it, that maybe it was just the excitement of new family members settling in. But then it became harder to ignore. One Friday night, we were all watching a movie in the living room. I'd been waiting all week to show Dad the short story I'd written for English class. But when I mentioned it, he waved me off. "Later, Alex. We're watching Lily's ballet recital DVD right now." That later never came. The imbalance grew. Every conversation at the dinner table revolved around Mark's soccer stats or Lily's latest art project. Mom started using phrases like "our talented ones" when talking about them, as if I was just there. It was during Christmas that year when I felt the first real sting. We each had gifts stacked neatly by our names. Mark unwrapped a brand new soccer gear set. Lily squealed over a professional art kit. My turn came, and I opened a box to find a sweater. It wasn't even my size. Mom smiled like it was thoughtful, telling me she'd seen it on sale and thought of me. That's when I noticed something, the way their eyes lit up for Mark and Lily, and how, when they looked at me, there was a polite warmth at best. I didn't say anything. I just folded the sweater back into the box, the tag still dangling from the collar. As the years passed, the favoritism became impossible to dismiss. When report cards came in, mine were acknowledged with a nod, maybe a quick good job. Mark got dinner out if he pulled a B in math. Lily got framed certificates for artistic effort, even if her grades were mediocre. I started spending more time at my best friend Dylan's house. His mom would ask about my day, remember little things I told her. Sometimes I'd stay for dinner just to avoid the quiet at mine, or worse, the one-sided conversations that made me feel like a guest. The breaking point started with something small, like it always does. It was my 16th birthday. I dropped enough hints for weeks about a guitar I'd been saving up for. I didn't expect them to buy it outright. I would have been happy with a contribution, a sign they supported my passion. That morning, I came downstairs to find a small, flat package. Inside, a notebook. Not even a nice one, just a generic spiral bound with "Dream Big" stamped on the cover. They'd thrown a party for Mark's 15th just 2 months before. A surprise party, catered, with half his soccer team invited and a mountain of gifts in the living room. Lily had gotten a custom-painted easel for her 10th. But my sweet 16 was a single candle and a store-bought cake and a notebook from the clearance rack. I didn't say thank you. I just excused myself, went to my room, and shut the door. After that, I stopped trying. I stopped showing them my grades, stopped asking them to come to my debate tournaments. I learned to drive and took the long way home just so I could be anywhere but there. Then came the night of the fundraiser dinner. Dad was on the board for some local charity, and they'd been planning it for weeks. We were all supposed to attend, but the day before, Mom told me there was limited seating, and they'd given my ticket to Lily's art teacher instead. I stayed home, eating leftovers, while photos flooded in of the 3 of them dressed up, laughing with donors, Mark in his soccer jacket, Lily holding a bouquet. That night, I overheard them in the kitchen. Mom said, "I just love how the kids make us look like such a warm family." Dad laughed. "The younger too, yeah. Alex, well, he's more independent." The words hit like ice water. Independent. As if that explained everything. As if it wasn't their neglect that pushed me away, but my choice to not need them. Senior year was when I stopped hiding my resentment. I didn't pick fights, but I didn't mask my indifference anymore. When they asked me to babysit, I said I had plans, even if I didn't. When they tried to involve me in family game night, I declined. I wasn't part of the family they pictured anyway. The final crack came on the day of my last debate tournament. It was regionals, the one that determined if I'd qualify for nationals. I'd reminded them for weeks. The morning of, Dad said they couldn't make it because Mark had an away game. I sat in that auditorium scanning the crowd, hoping maybe they'd surprise me. They didn't. I I won first place. Dylan's mom hugged me afterward. She took me out for ice cream to celebrate. When I got home with the medal still around my neck, Mom asked if I could help Lily with her art project. She didn't even notice the medal until 2 days later. By then, I'd shoved it in a drawer. It was the night of Lily's birthday party that I decided I was done. They'd rented out a whole venue, balloons in her favorite colors, a custom cake. Relatives came from out of town. I spent most of it in the corner, nursing a soda. At one point, a relative I barely knew asked, "So which one are you?" That stung more than I care to admit. That night, after everyone left, I went upstairs and started packing a bag. I didn't have a plan, just the overwhelming need to leave. I sat on my bed, staring at the half-filled duffel, when my phone buzzed. "Dylan, if you need to get out, I'll drive." I told him I needed one night to think. I went for a walk, my hands shoved deep in my hoodie pocket, the cool night air making my eyes water. I ended up at the park at the edge of town, the one with the rusted swings and the flickering streetlight. I sat there, rocking slowly, letting years of hurt replay in my head. I thought about the birthday notebook, the sweater, the missed tournaments. I thought about how I'd spent years convincing myself I could win them back if I just tried harder. But I was done trying. The next morning, I called my grandmother. She didn't sound surprised when I asked if I could stay with her. She just said, "Pack your things. I'll be there in an hour." When she pulled up, I hauled my suitcase to the door. My parents stood in the living room. Mom's mouth opened like she wanted to say something, but nothing came out. Dad crossed his arms. "So you're just leaving?" I met his eyes. "I've been gone for years. You just didn't notice." No one stopped me. Living with Grandma was like breathing clean air for the first time. She let me decorate my room, cooked meals with me, asked about my day, and listened to the answer. Dylan came over almost every weekend. For the first time in years, I felt like I belonged somewhere. I focused on school, poured myself into my art, and applied for every scholarship I could find. By the end of the year, I'd been accepted to a university 3 states away with nearly all expenses covered. Graduation day came. I stood in the crowded gym, cap and gown on, searching the stands. Grandma was there, front and center, clapping like I was the only graduate in the room. My parents showed up late, sitting in the back. They didn't come to find me afterward. As I stood in the parking lot with Grandma and Dylan, holding my diploma, I realized something. The family I'd been trying to win back all those years wasn't really mine anymore. Maybe they never had been. But the people standing beside me now, they were. And that was enough.